If you're chasing, you're not going to find it. If you're being driven by it, you will find it. Craig Ballantyne, did you know that every single living being on this planet needs a purpose?
You know, when you told that story about Cookie, it just cemented how important the purpose is for everybody and everything. So I'm going to make you tell that story.
Gladly.
Because we're going to tell this story so that everybody watching goes, holy cow, now I know what my purpose is now, because you were just saying why it's not going to be the same in 5 or 10 years, and how this is going to let you live your best life. All right? Over to you.
Welcome to another episode of The Empire Show. I'm Bedros Keuilian, and that handsome man is Craig Ballantyne, and today we're going to help you figure out how to live your ultimate purpose, especially as we go into the year 2020.
Yeah.
And so, as you know, 4 years ago, I rescued a beautiful dog. Her name is Cookie. She's part German Shepherd, part American Mastiff. Now, previous to owning Cookie, all we had in my family was two small dogs, a poodle and a chihuahua.
That was a weird picture of you and the cat the other day that was on Instagram.
Yeah, what did you think of that?
I felt a little weird.
I'm not typically a cat person until I met this little cat, Tiger, which we rescued again.
Yeah.
And he's more like a dog than a cat.
Interesting.
He comes to me. See, we saved him from day one. Like, we literally found him.
Oh, yeah, it's right.
The day found it. Yeah, like the day he was born, Mom abandoned him.
Yeah.
And so Diana and Chloe became like Mama to them, and I became Papa. And before you know it, he's like a dog and hangs out with Cookie. And yeah, the only thing he doesn't do is fetch.
Okay, cool.
And so anyway, that said, when we got Cookie, we rescued Cookie from Northern California. We brought her down, and now we've got these two small dogs, a poodle and a chihuahua, and they're nipping at Cookie. And so we're like, all right, one, we got to give the two small dogs away. So we gave the dogs to my mom and dad. Now we've got this 80-pound, half Mastiff, half German Shepherd dog who's like pulling around us everywhere. I'm like, this is not going to be good. Like, it's going to hurt us. It's going to hurt my kids. And so we hired a dog trainer handler, and this woman comes, and she's kind of looks at Cookie and looks at us and looks at Cookie. She goes, all right, well, your dog has a lot of energy, huh? That's why it's pulling you around. I'm like, yep. That's because she is part German Shepherd, and all Shepherd dogs need to be shepherding something. So it needs a sense of purpose and duty. And so it needs to either be shepherding your kids, or you might want to get some sheep, or you might want to play catch with it or something. I'm like, well, I'm not about to get sheep. I had a goat. By the way, true story. Remember when I had a goat? Let me just digress for a moment. Y'all will love this story. One day, this was about, so Chloe is 12 years old now. She was just born. So about 11 years ago, I got this wild hair up my ass to buy a pygmy goat, because they're tiny little goats and they're cute. And I saw a YouTube video and I was like, Marilyn, like she was my assistant at the time, find me a pygmy goat today. And so Marilyn finds me a pygmy goat.
And you had like an email contest to name the goat.
Yes, and we named it Crew, which is a combination of Chloe and Andrew, right? So Crew, the baby pygmy goat, I get and I take home. And so I get home and Di's like, hey, what's that? And I'm like, well, it's not a cat. She thought it was a cat. It's a pygmy goat. And of course the kids liked it, but this thing had to be bottle fed. Wow. And when it baths all day long, it starts attracting bobcats and coyotes to our backyard. And of course, when I'm on business trips, there's like all these bobcats and coyotes trying to eat the damn thing. And my wife's like, get rid of this thing, otherwise it's going to die.
Because you built a goat cage.
I did. I spent $7 grand building a goat habitat, which now just sits in my backyard, empty. But we can always put you in there as a prisoner. So
part of the project.
Yeah, that's right. Our Canadian prisoner. So anyway, that said, we've got Cookie now. We've got this dog handler, and she's like, look, you got to give her a sense of purpose. I'm like, well, like what? Well, play catch with her at the same time every day. Make sure that she bonds with your kids and she shepherds them along, because she needs to feel a sense of purpose. Okay, got it. I'm like, well, what happens if she doesn't? She goes, here's what's going to happen. You see that beautiful backyard you have? She's going to start digging holes in your backyard. I said, why would she dig holes? She goes, in the absence of purpose, your dog is going to get anxious and then depressed. And then to fulfill some sense of purpose, it's going to start digging holes in your backyard to give itself purpose. And I realized in that moment, we're no different than dogs. Yeah. Like, if we don't have a sense of purpose, we get anxious, we get depressed, and we start digging holes in our lives through alcoholism, infidelity, food, overeating, over drinking, over gambling, right? We start getting self-destructive just like a dog would. And so it's so important to have the sense of purpose. And so where do you begin building your sense of purpose. And everyone says, well, Craig, I need to find my sense of purpose. But the reality is, it's not lost. Purpose is developed. And so, having known you a long time, I knew you as the fitness guy. You had one of the first ebooks on fitness out there on the internet, on ClickBank, Turbulence Training. But today, you're coaching and consulting entrepreneurs who are doing 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures in business. So your sense of purpose changed. How did that happen?
It's still the same foundational sense of purpose, which is helping people get more results in less time. Like, to me, I'm all about efficiency. I want to get you to the finish line as fast as possible. And whether that's, hey, listen, you don't need to work out as much, you need to work out this style of workout, you could do it at home so you don't have to go to the gym, so you're not wasting all this time. Or it's, hey, listen, you need to become a better leader so that you're not doing this stuff, you need to hire this person, you need to use this, and you need to stop doing these other things so that you can get to $10 million faster than the way you are right now. Like, that's what it is to me. I believe that success in life is very simple. And I want to show everybody else in life how simple life should be, because humans make it too complicated. So that's like the foundational purpose. Now, I did it in fitness because it was the easiest place for me to start, and I could have the biggest impact the fastest, and it was something I liked at the time. But as you were saying before we got on this, when we were discussing the strategy for this show, was like, hey, listen, we all go through different purposes through different seasons of life. And so I outgrew that. You know, a lot of my friends are going to be in fitness all their life because that truly is their thing. If you want to talk about working out, man, I'll talk about working out for about a minute, and then it's like, let's talk about something else. To me, there's things that are bigger and better. So that's how I moved on from that. But when I would have a conversation with somebody, whether they're young, whether they're middle-aged, want a second career, even if they're 65, I'm like, hey man, I don't want to just retire. I would start with figuring out what are your values and your vision. Your values and your vision are going to drive every daily decision. Values, vision, drive the decision. So when we have clarity of purpose, and then we can build the strategy to get you there. So that's how
Perfect.
I go about things.
Perfect. And I think that's a great way, and we're going to break down values and vision in just a moment so our
sure.
viewers and listeners can go through it. But we're finding that golden thread, as my friend Kevin, my therapist, says, finding that golden thread. Typically, like you and I think, connected simply because, one, we are service-driven, and two, we want to coach people. Like, we're coachable, and we want to coach people and help them get a faster result, whether it's through fitness, and then nutrition, and then personal development, right? Business. We want to time collapse the results. So I know for a fact my DNA is about serving others, and so is yours, coaching them to a better outcome, whatever the outcome might be. And as we get older in life and different seasons of life comes, the purpose will change. Like, you and I were coaching people in their fitness, and then it was their business. Now I've kind of transitioned into their personal development because I realized personal development is the lid that determines how high you're going to go.
Right, because when we started off in fitness, that mattered. And then as you get older, you go, okay, it matters to a point, but it's not the be all and end all of life. Now it's more about business. Oh, but even business isn't the be all and end all about life. It's about getting closer to being that best version of yourself. And so therefore it's personal development. And maybe there is another level beyond this. Maybe it's something that we can't properly describe, but that really is it. It's like your view on life is going to change, and therefore your purpose will probably shift a little bit too. Yeah. Like a business person who goes from making a lot of money to giving all the money away. Well, it's totally opposite behavior in two different phases and seasons of their life because their purpose and passion has changed.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And so whether your purpose is through a product, right? Like our friend Randall Pitch, who owns LiveFit, like he loves making apparel that has really cool graphics and design and is functional in the fitness and MMA and skateboarding world. Like that's his thing. It's a product.
And Scott Sandberg, who's another one of our
clients. Scott Sandberg, another one of our coaching
motivational
clients.
T-shirts for women.
Yeah, exactly. Fitness Tea Company. Big shout out to Scott. And then you look at people who are in the service industry. They might be coaching. They might be running software as a service. They might have some kind of...
What was the name of the guy you brought in for the Empire Mastermind that runs the hotels? I mean, that's one of
Larry Broughton.
Yeah, that's one of the ultimate service.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to make you a home for the night.
Yeah.
Like, that's powerful. Service to others.
Huge. So what you have to first figure out, it goes like this. How do I find my purpose? Well, it's simple. Is it going to be through a product that you have a passion for? Or is it through a service that you have a passion for? So you first find your passion. What am I passionate about? It might be coffee.
I think there's one more thing. There's a passion about a process. So you might not be passionate about selling a product, but you might love SEO. Remember Rick Porter? Our friend?
Rick Porter.
I was talking to him the other day.
Why don't you tell him how Rick became an SEO expert?
Right. Rick Porter.
He actually still works for me. I still give him work.
Cool, yeah. So, I mean, I remember this. He used to be a big bodybuilder and has a picture of him looking with a lightsaber. I remember, like, that's forever ingrained in my mind. Anyways, Rick had a dream or like had a vision from God about how the internet worked, is what he said to me one day. And he figured out how SEO really works, and he's just a genius at it and helps a lot of people. Now, he's not going to go and do SEO for something bad, but he will do SEO for a boot camp or for somebody whose name has been run through the mud that doesn't deserve it. Like, he's not necessarily concerned about the thing, but the process.
Yes.
He loves the process. Some people love the process of, like Michael Del Monte, Vince's brother, is a documentary maker. Now, he's not, like, you could give him an amazing story, and as long as it's an amazing story that fits his values, he'll make an amazing movie out of it. But he loves the process of making movies. So it's the service, the product, or the process. You need to figure out where your zone of genius kind of fits in there, and then you can build up from that.
Yeah. And there's so much truth to that, right? Because once you find whether it's a product, service, or process, then you can really pour into it. Great example is Starbucks has been around for, I don't know, some 40 some odd years. And it is probably the brand where coffee is concerned. And there's a whole bunch of offshoot brands, right? Death Wish Coffee, and there's that Stump House Coffee, I think, from Oregon, et cetera. Now, there was these two guys who were in the Army, and look, in the Army, they get crap coffee. So these guys brought their own grounder. They would find their own beans in Afghanistan and Iraq. Wow. Like, they went out of their way to find the best beans in a battle zone, and brought their own grounder and would just brew, boil the water just right, and they would make the best coffee. They'd press the coffee. They'd make the best coffee they can on a battlefield. As they came out of the Army, they created a brand called Black Rifle Coffee. Now, in the last 7 years, Black Rifle Coffee has gone to $115 million a year. They literally send you coffee beans in the mail, and then they go, here's how you're going to grind it, here's how you're going to brew it, and here's how you're going to make coffee. So you would think that the coffee industry is saturated, that Starbucks has a stronghold on it, that there's all these different bean companies out there anyways. But then Black Rifle Coffee comes and goes, hey man, we found a different way. And they're so passionate about the coffee bean, the way you grind it, the way you brew it, that they were able to just take their passion and turn it into their purpose to the point of $115 million a year.
That's amazing. I just saw this stat randomly on the internet today that kind of relates to it. Is Monster Energy since 2003 has been the best performing stock in the United States. It's gone up 20,000% since 2003. And you would have said in 2003, oh, Red Bull's got it all. I'm not going to go in that marketplace or whatever. But hey, listen, those guys just passionate about making a better, different product. And now the Bang CEO guys making a better, different product. Fascinating stuff. When you're driven, you have to have this behind you, because we see this all the time. People jumping from thing to thing. Oh, I'm in real estate for 3 months. Didn't work out. 3 months. I was in ebooks for 3 months. Didn't work out. I was in Forex trading for 3 months. Well, you're chasing money. You're not being driven by passion and purpose. And if you're not being driven by the passion and purpose, man, nothing's ever going to work out for you. So
That's exactly it. If you're chasing, you're not going to find it. If you're being driven by it, you will find it. And a great point to that is Tom Bilyeu, the co-founder of Quest Bars, who we brought to speak at the Empire Mastermind at the Empire Business Summit, right? Like, he blew away our coaching clients with this. And he said, hey, there's always room at the top for the best. And that's absolutely true. Everyone thought for all these years that Monster Energy drink was the best, right? They even start taking market share from Red Bull. And then good old Jack comes along with Bang Energy, and he's just crushing them at the rate of growth that he's having. And this is happening because he has created a better
Shout
product.
out to Jack. Everybody tag Jack Owak, Bang CEO, on this show, because he followed me, he followed you.
Yeah, he's a cool cat.
Yeah. And
I've yet to meet him, but yeah, thank you, Jack, for following us. Would love to have you on the Empire Show.
Yes, absolutely. That would be amazing.
Yeah, so again, there's always room at the top for the best. Like, fitness was so saturated, but I realized that there is no fitness boot camp that's actually systematized, and there was already some other brands of fitness boot camps.
They were all janky.
They were all janky. So I decided, well, what if we actually take that outdoor boot camp, bring it indoors, and actually offer coaching to the entrepreneur who's a fitness expert, and see if they can scale. And then Fit Body Boot Camp blew up. It was a byproduct of offering a better product And when you offer a better product, there's something always magical that's going to happen. You're going to have room at the top. That was my purpose. And so we share this because we now need to tie it into what is your personal vision and values that are going to drive your purpose.
Right. So the way that I describe it is if you have your purpose and your vision for where you want to get to, now that drives every daily decision. Listen, if you're being driven, and I wrote this down, I think this is a really important thing. Again, write this down, unless you're driving anything but a Tesla, write this down, that says, it's the drive, not the chase. It's the drive, not the chase. People always say, you know, it's the journey, not the destination. It's the drive, not the chase. If you are chasing something, it's going to be very difficult to attain it. If you are being driven, you are going to get there. So, your values and vision drive your daily decision. If you want to be, as Bedros does, if you want to be the #1 contributor to Shriners Hospital, that's going to get you up without the snooze every single day. If you're hitting snooze, you haven't tapped into the drive. And if you are not eating well, and you're not exercising, you're not taking care of yourself, you're watching 4 episodes of Netflix per night, drinking every night, partying on the weekends, you haven't found your drive and you're chasing stuff. So values and vision drive every daily decision. If I want to be, have a $100 million business so that I can donate $5 million a year to Shriners, then my daily decisions are get up at 5 a.m., GSD, go to the gym, come in and lead, get home for my family, travel the world and speak, grow my empire, do this show. His daily decisions are made not because he sits there and he scribbles them out and he goes, I'm going to be a disciplined guy. But no, because he's got the drive from inside. It's that simple.
To that point, so let's talk about what your vision would be. So I'm very clear on my life's vision. And when I wasn't, I didn't really feel I had a sense of purpose. Mm-hmm. And one of my sense of purposes that I have right now is that I do want to be the #1 donator to Shriners, and I'm very close to getting there. Currently, it's Justin Timberlake, which we always talk about. Big shout out to Justin Timberlake as well for donating.
Do they have a leaderboard?
They don't, but if you donate enough money, you are contacted by the right people and you're sent stuff in the mail.
Good.
So all those little trophies and plaques that I have from Shriners, which then forced me to. And by the way, what a great reward system. Yeah. You send in a few $100,000, you get this. You send in a couple million, you get that. Right? And so they kind of encourage me to send in more money. So that's one of my big driving components. Another one is I grew up poor in this country when I came to the United States. I wanted my kids to have the best of everything. I want them to fly first class. I want them to meet other cultures. I want them to experience other countries. I want them to eat at like 5-star restaurants and Michelin star restaurants. Thank you. And so we've taken them to the Addison. We've taken them to French Laundry in Napa Valley. We've taken them to so many different
My mom's house.
To your mom's house, by the way. Amazing pork chops, amazing smoked pork chops that Marlene makes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mama Marlene.
She's got Instagram.
Does she?
At Marlene Ballantyne.
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, by the way, if you
I don't know how many months that go by between her checking it, but...
Yeah, okay. So does she ever put up a post, or she just use it to like follow up?
I think she just follows.
Follows, yeah. I love that. So anyway, that said, 1, I know that I want to be the #1 donator to Shriners. 2, I want my kids to have experiences that I never had. And I'm very clear on what those experiences are. One of them was also I never wanted them to see the inside of a daycare. So I knew that I had to create a business that made so much money that my wife wouldn't work, because I wanted my wife to raise our kids and not necessarily have some fat, out of shape chick who doesn't give a crap raise my kids. Because that's what most daycares consist of.
Sure.
Right? And I share that with you because if you're so clear on your vision, then your mission becomes very evident. I must make money for these reasons. And if I want to make this kind of money, what can I do? What am I passionate about? Well, at the time, I was passionate about fitness, which I still am. I'm 45. I'm very passionate about fitness. And so I evolved into this franchisor of Fit Body Bootcamp. And Fit Body Bootcamp isn't just a fitness workout. We can do fitness, nutrition, and mindset. We sell everybody, all of our clients worldwide who use a Fit Body Bootcamp, they join because they want to lose weight. They want to lose weight, lose the muffin top, get into a 2-piece bikini, maybe get into their little black dress. Once they're on board, we also go, hey, guess what? You're actually in a personal development program, because we pour into our clients about mindset, because we know that you can lose the weight and gain it back if your mindset is not squared away. So I share this because that's how I kind of became also the mindset guy, the personal development guy. I took my 2 favorite passions and made it my purpose, fitness and self-development. And so if you're clear on your vision, then your values kind of kick in. For me, I have 3 core values, and that's our core values for our business. 1, drive change. 2, exceed expectations. 3, to be relentlessly disciplined. Because if I'm not disciplined, I won't achieve my mission and vision. So going back to what you said, people are like, well, I tried real estate for 3 months. Now I'm going to try flipping homes for 3 months. Now I'm going to try this Forex for 3 months. That's not it. You got to go all in on the thing that drives you, because the moment you start chasing the money is the moment that you start flip-flopping from industries.
Yeah, so I've got this new thing now called the Ballantyne Method. And so picture 3 circles. 3 circles. One is clarity, one is discipline, another one is strategy. And all of those have to be green in order for you to be successful. But if you don't have clarity, a lot of people don't have clarity. So those people flipping and flopping from thing to thing, they don't have clarity about where they want to get to in life. And if you don't have clarity, you can be the most disciplined person in the world, right?
Yep.
But you'll never get the right strategy in place. You'll be one of the people, I label that person who doesn't have clarity but does have discipline, a lost warrior. Oof. They're going to put everything on their back. They're going to suffer in silence. They're going to grind, baby, grind. And they're going to grind themselves down because, listen, if you don't have a dream destination, you're just going to go off in any direction chasing all these shiny objects. You can work 14 hours a day. But if you're working 14 hours in a day on the wrong things, you'll never get to the dream destination. So you'll never have the right strategy to be successful.
Yep.
Now, you flip it, and you have great clarity. You have a huge dream, but you have no discipline. I call those people dreamers, not doers. They will never have the strategy because they'll never have the personal discipline to accomplish the dream. And vision without action is hallucination. Albert Einstein said that. Ooh. And that's what the dreamer, not doer, has. They go, oh man, I'm going to be a billionaire. I'm going to do this. Got to go watch Netflix. Be back in a bit.
Yep.
You know, it's like, we all know those people. And they'll never get the right strategy. Therefore, they'll never get the right results. So the Ballantyne Method, the thing that I've been teaching, you've come to the workshops, all that stuff, same stuff you teach, just in different words. Clarity. We get clarity first. Just like they don't put the Navy SEALs on a mission without clarity around the mission first.
Right.
Then you got to have discipline. That's why they do all the training. Great. Now, if you got clarity about where you want to get to, and you got the personal discipline habits to do it, now you can build the strategy. And that strategy will work. So that's what's missing from your life to be successful. And I use a Navy SEAL example. It's the same thing about going to Disney World. Everybody in their life, their dream destination is going to be Disney World, either as a parent or as a kid. You're going to Disney World, one of the Disney Worlds, right? How do you get there? Well, you fly to Orlando, you get in a rental car, you drive to Disneyland or Disney World, you get to your dream destination. So simple, you got a clear strategy because you have clarity and you have discipline, structure, and so that's how you find success in life. But if you don't have the clarity, and the purpose, it's all gonna fall apart. That's why this is so important. That's why if you feel like you're jumping from one thing, not just from industry to industry, but project to project, like if you've been in the fitness industry and you're spinning your wheels and you're like, oh, well, maybe this time we're gonna focus more on personal training because that's hot right now, it's come back in style, or maybe we're gonna go and do these, man, like people have really ruined the fitness industry with these like 6-week challenges that are free, but they're not free.
Yep.
And now it's ruined everything in the fitness industry, and you jumped on that train, and it's ruined your reputation in your town. I have so many clients that come to me now. They're like, yeah, I ruined my reputation doing that thing. I need your help now to get it back. Well, listen, you're bouncing from thing to thing, and you don't have clarity and purpose driving you forward on the right path. That's why, I own 3 Fit Body boot camps. They're all doing better than ever, because we have had clarity of path, thanks to you, thanks to my people that I work with, that we're more successful than ever because we've always done the right thing.
Amen to that. And to that point, before we wrap up here, I want to share the unpopular thing, the thing that's not necessarily talked about often enough, and that is that if you want to really develop this purpose, if you really want to reap the rewards of it, it's like planting a seed, right? It's like planting a seed. You plant the seed, you have to first dig through the soil. You got to make sure that soil is fertile. You got to plant the seed, cover it up, water it, fertilize it, take care of it through the different seasons of the heat, the cold, the snow, and repeat until it starts becoming a little sprout. And then when it does, you got to weed that garden, make sure the weeds aren't going to choke that thing out. What I'm saying is the 10,000 hour rule applies. So if you think this is all going to happen overnight, it's not. You have to constantly tend to the garden, and you have to go in for a decade plus. Yeah. It's not sexy to say that you got to do this for a decade plus, because if you're 20 years old, a decade feels like a million years. It is 10 years, and it is a long time. But that time is going to tick by anyway. Yep. And if you keep jumping around from this to that to the other, it's literally like restarting the 10-year clock over and over again. you're never going to get there. So find the thing that excites you, and there's probably several things that excite you, and go all in on that for a decade. And that, going back to what you said, one of your circles of the Ballantyne Method is discipline. Yeah. If you can stay disciplined for 10 years, I don't care if it's becoming you're going to be the best dog poop cleaner-upper in town. You do that for 10 years and you will develop a strategy, a system, a marketing message so well that you will be the best dog poop cleaner-upper in your town, making so much money that you can use that money to drive the causes that have the most meaning to you.
Yeah. So here's what you're going to do next. Here's what you're going to do next. You're probably, hopefully, listening to this as we come to the end of 2019 into 2020. If you're listening to it at another time, hey, this is great to do every quarter as well. You are going to take a Saturday morning off. You are going to get away from your office. You are going to go to a park. You're going to go to a Starbucks. You're going to go somewhere great. You're going to get all the caffeine or whatever it is that gets you fired up. And you are going to sit there and you're going to plan. You're going to think about your purpose. You're going to look at your values and vision. You're going to say, what really matters to me for my family, for my health, for my wealth, and for my experiences? What is driving me? Great. Now you're going to create a vision, a 3-year vision for your future, so that if you were to say to me, Craig, in 3 years from now, I will have done this, this, and this. Give me 3 things. 3 main things, not 15, but 3 main things. These are going to be the rocks that guide you. 2 of them are going to be professional, 1 of them is going to be personal. So it might be like, in 3 years, I want to be married with kids living on this street. Great. In 3 years from now, our business is going to have gone from 1 million to 10 million. Great. In 3 years from now, I will have built myself up to become a better leader. I will have this many team members in a high-level position and this many team members on the front lines. Great. Now that is a roadmap. And it is just like when you were a kid and you saw treasure maps and it was X marks the spot. Now we've got all the little black little dotted lines to get you there. And you can stay out of trouble. You stay out of trouble and you get there as quickly as possible. And that's what you're going to do. And you can probably do that in a couple hours, just answering those questions, building that out. And now you know what you need to do every single day and how you need to act every single day to accomplish your life's purpose.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I know you loved this episode of The Empire Show, and if you did, then take a screenshot of this show, share it in your stories on social media. Make sure you tag at least 3 people who need to be listening to this particular episode. Please leave us a 5-star review and a comment, because we are not selling you anything. We are just selling you on the idea of becoming the best version of yourself, and we'll see you later.